All right, Aaron.
Hi.
Aaron, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland. Tell me
Yep.
about your family growing up.
So up until the age of 3, I lived with my biological parents, and then I was taken away from them because my father was caught molesting and abusing my brothers and sisters and I. They didn't catch him in the act, but it was found out through our behaviors because this sexual behaviors manifest, you know. And they would catch my brother and I doing absurd things. So I got placed in foster care when I was 3, and then finally adopted when I was 7 by the same lady who originally took me in. It just took her a while because of the court proceedings. And then it really wasn't any better as far as neglect and abuse goes. There was no, molestation. There was just a lot of abuse. I could go into details. Do you want me to?
Sure, just a little bit.
So one time I I was angry at my mother, so I scraped up the wallpaper in the bathroom, made marks in it with a Lego or something. And so she revoked my bathroom privileges for a full year, and I had to defecate and urinate in a can in my bedroom, and I would have to use the kitchen sink to take a sponge bath before school in the morning. Literally no bathroom privileges. On the regular, she would beat me with these orange driveway markers, the fiberglass ones, and she would beat me on my behind, and leave welts, but it was always on my behind, so I wasn't going around advertising it, and no one was asking any questions. And I believed I wasn't allowed out much, so I wasn't able to see how other parents treated their children. So I didn't know that I was in a really dark, screwed up situation, you know what I mean? But so that's a few tidbits, and then oddly enough, she died when I was 15. I got put back in foster care because my adoptive brothers and sisters, they didn't feel like I was their responsibility. It was my mother's responsibility, and she had passed away, so, I don't know, for some reason I wasn't their responsibility. So I got put back into foster care. Up until that point, I had really, just kind of screwed off in school and whatnot, but I really buckled down. I remember my senior year, I only had 6 credits going into the year, and you need 22 in the state of Ohio to graduate. And I was able to get all of my credits plus some and graduate on time. I took on a class load of it was 3 years of schoolwork within a year, and I did it. It was really cool. Scored super high on my ACTs, and I graduated and was emancipated from the state of Ohio when I was 17, which at the time I'm oh, cool, look at me, hotshot. But I later found out that if you were awarded the state until you're 18, on your 18th birthday, you're still awarded the state. The state has to pay for your college education up until you're 26. I didn't know that there was a money scheme and that getting me expedited out was a way they could save money. I later found that out because my sister managed to stay in the foster care system until she was 18 and she had her schooling paid for, which is really cool. But so yeah, that was life growing up. It wasn't very fun. So I kind of, after graduation, I didn't nobody could really tell me anything as far as what to do, because I had 2 jobs. I had my own apartment, you know what I mean? And it quickly spiraled out of control as far as I was drinking a lot, and I started doing cocaine, started smoking crack, and I ended up smoking crack for 2 years. And at that point, I was drinking every day. At the height of my drinking, I was drinking a 5th of rum and a 12-pack of Bud Ice every day. But weirdly enough, I got sick of the hangovers. I could not do it. The dehydration and the dry heaving and the shakes. to where one day, like, I didn't realize I was going through DTs for 3 days, but I was. I thought I just had a really bad hangover, and after that, I'm like, I'm good on the drinking. And then with the crack smoking, I received a felony. I stole someone's credit card and ran up $1,000 on it. Didn't realize at the time that, you know, if you're gonna do that kind of thing, you should keep it under 1,000. So then I had my first introduction to the judicial system. They placed me in drug court, which I ended up not completing. It's another one of those things where it's a money scheme, because if they're allowed, when you're placed into drug court, they are allowed to tell you what to do, where to go, when to be there, what time to be in, you know, and if you don't follow those rules, they can put you in jail. Kind of evil, you know. But so yeah, that brings me up to right before I came to California, because I'm only 26. I don't know if I want to share my age, but yeah, I'm only 26. I just turned 26. So I was I read this book like 3 years ago, and it's called Bright Shiny Morning. It followed the lives of like 8 different people who lived out here in California, and it was really kind of cool because I liked it a lot because I'm a pretty free spirit, and I heard a lot about California, you know, being a free spirit. And this book kind of put all it put it into perspective for me, like what life was like out here. It really kind of excited me, you know, but I had never even left the state, you know, let alone like go 3,000 miles away. And I knew that I wanted to come here, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. And all I knew is that I was starting to come into starting to realize that I could manifest things in my life if I focus on them correctly. So I was using meditation, and I would meditate every morning. Meditate myself into a better mood, because I would wake up naturally and just be like angry every morning, you know, and it was very hard to function like that, you know. So I would wake up and do this meditation, kind of like reset my mood into a more positive state, and then at the end of the meditation, I would close it with, "I'm going to go to California." I would just say that once, and then it would, you know, I'd go on with my day. I did that for like 6 months. No. I only did that for like 3 months, and then there was 3 months I didn't do it, and I was just kind of, you know, just live my life, drinking, you know, whatever. And at the end of the 3 months, the second 3 month period, I was at a bar drinking, and this guy had asked me, you know, what my story was, and I kind of lied to him and told him that I was from California. And to my surprise, he's like, "Do you want to go home?" And I said, "Yeah." Like, I remember just being like super excited, you know. And he was like, "Well, I'll buy you a bus ticket when we're done here." I'm like, so sure enough, we finished our drinks, and he took me down to the Greyhound station and put me on a bus. And I came here with nothing. I mean, I didn't really have anything to begin with, you know what I mean? And I've been here ever since. So yeah.
How long has it been?
Like 3 years.
3 years. What have you been doing since you got here?
So I used to cook back in Ohio. I've had a couple jobs out here, like working on food trucks. Nothing too big though. Spent a lot of time on the beach, you know, kind of being a hippie. A lot of people look down on that lifestyle, but like I have a lot of pain that I'm trying to work through. And like at like the time I've spent on the beach, I've done like a lot of like soul searching, you know, a lot of like practicing opening my eyes and trying to see the bigger picture, you know, because I'm learning that there's a lot more to life than, for example, me and my pain, you know. There's this other side that's like, okay, put me and my pain aside, there's people out there who've been through the same thing that I've been through.
And have done great things.
Yeah, not only that, but who have yet to do the great things and need help, you know? and I'm like the only way I'm gonna be able to heal is if I help these people. I don't know why, but like in learning things, you never, because I taught myself to play the tuba and to play the guitar growing up, and I was never able to fully like master like a certain piece of music or whatever, or a certain technique until I taught it to somebody else. Then I like knew the entire scope of it, you know. So I'm like a firm believer that like I need to get better so I can help others get better, and then in turn
Help yourself.
yeah. So we all elevate.
I buy that 100%.
So
Are drugs still a part of your life?
yeah, I still struggle, but you know I'm blessed. Like there's a lot of people out here on fentanyl, man, and like I heard somebody talking about it earlier, and like it's like I've had Narcan 8 people this year, you know, and like I've become like numb. Like when it happens, like I know exactly what to do and whatever. I don't freak out, but I'm numb to it, you know, because I've seen it. I'm like desensitized because I've seen it so many times. And like I don't want to have to keep doing that to people.
Your drug is crystal meth?
Yeah, my drug is crystal meth. But like I said, I'm like blessed that like, I haven't slipped into the hands of opiates, you know, because that kills people. And not only that, like it changes people. Literally, it changes your brain chemistry. And granted, so does meth, but like there's something about like meth is mentally addictive. Like I don't have meth, I'm not like crapping myself or throwing up. You know, I can make it through my day to the next day. Eventually, I'm gonna want to pick up again, but I can make it through situations that I need to make it through. Where I've noticed with opiates, people like they cannot do anything without that drug, and they will do heinous things. Like for instance, like they'll agree, you know, the day prior to do something the next day that's of extreme importance that involves other people, and then the next day they're not prepared and they don't have their drug, and so all these other people are affected because of one person, you know, and it's really kind of fucked up, screwed up. Excuse my language. So yeah, I feel blessed that I'm not like, I mean, and I really want to like quit using meth because it's part of the reason I'm still homeless. Because like whenever I was housed like 6 months ago, but I was still hanging around the shady people, you know, I'm bringing them to my home, and my landlord seeing them was like, and then it caused friction between us, me and my landlord, which eventually led to me like, I left before they evicted me, but it eventually led to that, you know what I mean? Negativity breeds negativity, you know?
What's your biggest fear now?
My biggest fear right now, getting shot or stabbed. Because I see it happen to people. I see guns a lot. And like, and also fighting. I've never been in a fight out here on the streets. I usually don't let stuff escalate to there. I'm pretty good at like just meandering through situations without, well, I don't know how to say it, like I'm pretty good at like getting a read on people and when to go home, you know? Because I growing up seeing all of like violence inflicted on me and then around me, like it didn't do any good, you know? So like it's unattractive to me. Some people like fighting and I'm just like, I mean, I like arguing, debating, you know? Mm-hmm. But why would you like getting hit in the head? Or, you know, why would you like the fear of losing your life, you know? Like that's, I can't call it insane, but it's like, cause I don't think it fits the definition, but it's definitely unhealthy.
Yeah, well, mental illness is everywhere on the streets.
But, you know, I think part of my, me not liking to fight is part of my mental illness. Because I think humans, to some degree, need that fight in them. You know what I mean? Because if you don't fight, if you stand for nothing, you will fall for everything, you know? And like, there's sometimes, like this morning, I ran into a guy who stole my blanket, and I don't know what else he took from me. And like, I just kind of like, I realized what had happened, that he was the one that did it. And what I do in those situations, I never talk to those people again. I just got up off the train, got on the next car. And the dude I was with was like, what are you gonna do about, dude who took your stuff? And I'm like, it was hard for me to tell him, like, I'm probably not gonna do anything. I'm just not gonna ever talk to him again. I wouldn't even piss on him if he was on fire. And that's all that I can do. And also, I know that this person has a gun, So I'm not gonna risk my life because I want to be a father someday, dude. You said family on the wall, dude. That was one of the first things I walked in the door and realized. Sorry.
You might be one of the best opportunities to give a glimpse into homelessness and mental illness and drug addiction. Let me ask you a question and see what your answer is. What stops you at 26 years old, you're healthy, from just getting a job and getting your life together?
What stops me? Mm-hmm. Drug addiction. Well, it's not the drugs that stop me. There's not a bag of crystal meth at the door saying stop, It's my desire to do them. That becomes, like, sometimes it subsides and sometimes it's not even there. But then, like, the more I let life build up in my head, like all these, like, the more I don't handle the things that I need to handle, the stronger that urge becomes. And, like, I'm talking, like, things that I didn't need to handle. Like, the more I put off, like, going to get my ID, or the more I put off, like, not getting a phone, the more I put off not going to therapy for my mental health, the bigger these problems get. And then the more I just want to, like, not deal with them. Because, like, if I have a problem today and then tomorrow it gets bigger, I'm going to want to deal with it less because it's a bigger problem. You know what I mean? My appetite is only so big, And then if it's bigger than it was yesterday, does it make sense? Mm-hmm. But right now, I'm really getting to a point where, like I want to go to detox and I want to go to rehab, dude. I used to want to get sober, but now I just want to get sober, dude. Like, I'm at that point, where, if that makes sense. Because they say you have to want it, and it's like, I didn't get that before. But now it's like, dude, I would give anything to, like, to wake up to that boring life every day that I used to think was so boring, instead of this stuff, Because, like, I want to get back with my sister. I have one person I really only call family now. Because, like, my adoptive family, technically, legally, is not my family anymore. Because I was put back as a ward. And then I have my brother, who is too much like my father. I don't want anything to do with him. And then I have my sister, who is she is a advocate for at-risk youth. I think it's really cool. And she lives in Australia. She did this all on her own. And she went through the same things that I went through. But I don't want to say to the extent that I did, though. Because once she got into foster care, like, she got placed with kind of like the white picket fence, Dream American home, Dream American family. And she heard about some of the shit that I was going through. And it's just like, and she was afraid that if she reported it, that it would get back around to my mom and then I would get reprimanded even more, But I'm really, like, I love my sister, dude. We're a lot alike. Like, my good qualities, we share a lot.
You speak to her still?
Yeah, every now and then, but it's hard for me to talk to her because, like, I start crying. Because I miss her so much. And I don't want to, like, every time I talk to her to be, like, sad, So until I have my life together, I try to just stay out of hers. Because it's stressful knowing that there's someone you love out there in the world who doesn't care about themselves, or so it seems. And that there's really nothing you could do. I did not think this was gonna be this emotional. But eventually, like, I would like to go to Australia and live in Australia with her and have our family just be one big family. You know, she just had a kid. And, like, I don't know I mean, the kid's a baby still, but I don't know what she's gonna tell him about, or if she is even gonna tell him. Even if I do meet the kid, like, because her and I both know, like, the consequences of, like, people coming in and out of your life throughout your childhood. It's not good. It's not healthy. It creates a lot of discord in your emotions, which creates a lot of instability, which is not good for a child. So I wouldn't blame her if she, like, wanted to see me doing well for years before she introduced me to her child. But that hurts, dude. It hurts so much. And this is why I want to get sober, dude. Because I'm done feeling this pain. This pain that I created. Because, like, it was my decision to pick up drugs. And it was my decision to not deal with my problems. Nobody else's. Nobody, like, shoved a pipe down my throat. Nobody did any of that. I don't know. Do we still talk? Yeah. Here and there. But, like, I only really call her when there are changes in my life. You know? Because it's pointless. Otherwise.
What emotions do you go through mostly, Aaron?
Not these ones. Usually I'm pretty even keel. But lately I've been, like, ever since... Before we started, I told you about what happened to my friend the other day. That really screwed me up. No, that was like a week and a half ago. And lately I've been, like, really irritable. Really, like... And I know why. It's because I'm not happy with my life right now. Like, I used to be comfortable. You know, just getting on, doing what I do, and, you know, being a hippie or whatever. And that used to be my comfort zone because... And how I know that is because I stayed in it for so long. But now that, like, my eyes are opening, and I'm like, no pun intended, but the haze is clearing, you know? I'm seeing, like, I'm not comfortable here anymore. I'm not. I don't want to say here, but I'm not comfortable with me anymore, you know? I forgot the question. Oh, the emotions. So yeah, lately I've been really irritable. Snapping at people. I told you I don't really fight. I feel like I'm about to, like, fight somebody a lot of the times. But that's one of my things that I hold a lot of value in. Because, like, violence just gets no one anywhere. If you want to fight somebody, put some gloves on and go into a ring, you know? But if not, like, be a man and talk it out, you know? That's what will solve your issues. Communication, you know? So I, like, kind of pride myself on the fact that, like, I've never... And when I say I don't fight, I don't, like, run away like a little girl. I use my words, you know? And then, like, I kind of, like, when somebody, like, wants to, like, try to bully me into fighting, I still use my words, and, like, I call them out on their crap. And, like, they feel really small, you know, and end up walking away, you know. But I try not to spend a lot of time down here, because a lot of times down here, people are not like, they will just pop off on you, sometimes for no reason, you know. But before this stuff with my friend happened, I was pretty even keel. Like I said, I was comfortable, you know. I was comfortable with my life. you know. I was trying to think of a word, emotions. I can't say happy. I was not happy, but I was content. A little sad. I deal with depression. But yeah, content. That's an emotion, right?
Mm-hmm. Where'd you like to be in 5 years?
Pardon?
Where'd you like to be in 5 years?
I want to be in school, dude. I want to be a doctor. I mean, that's something that's all I've always wanted to be. I didn't realize when I was a kid that I wanted to be a doctor. I just knew that I wanted to be something that I wanted to work in a profession that encompassed a large field, if that makes sense. And your PhD does, you know, like a doctor of, like probably psychology, you know, I would be like all knowing of the brain, you know, or whatever, you know. And like, even today, like people come talk to me here and there about something they're going through. And I'm pretty good at like picking it apart and like with the components and like, you know, maybe like giving them insight as to why they might be doing what they're doing, or the insight as to why somebody else might be doing what they're doing to them, you know? So I feel like I've kind of got a good head on my shoulders to be a doctor if I can get my life together and keep it together. But yeah, I want to be in school. I want to be working on my PhD.
Aaron, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
That I don't know if this is a lesson or a fact or whatever, but they say, this is a quote from a book. It says, as we trudge the road of happy destiny, more will be revealed to us and to others. There's always something more to come, you know? There's always a bigger picture, always. And if you think that's wrong, you need to look at the bigger picture, you know? Yeah. And why? Why is that so important to me? Because for so long, like when I was a kid, my life was so small, you know? And I guess that's where I got screwed up, is thinking that life was that small. And just automatically feeling sorrow, because I'm like, oh my God, life is so small, blah, 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 you know, and just thinking that was it. Had I realized that life could be bigger and would be bigger for me, maybe I wanted, because I turned to drugs when I was like an adolescent, not even a teenager. Like I started smoking cigarettes when I was 9. I started smoking weed when I was 11. Took my first drink when I was 12. I started doing opiates when I was 13. Like I started taking like prescription opiates when I was 13. You know, and then went from prescription opiates to uppers, you know, when I was 18. You know, just bigger picture. You know, there's more to life than what we see.
All right, Aaron, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
I wish you the best of luck with your pursuits and homelessness and all that, and I hope you become a doctor one day. That'd be great.
Thank you.
That'd be awesome to see.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.